It's howling time. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of It's Howling Time with the Howling Wolf. Here, gonna give you selections for February 15th, 2020. The track that I'm gonna do is gonna be the fairgrounds, where they're gonna be having some races for the Derby points and also some great stakes races. I'm going to give you most of the stakes races, and I'm going to give you my two top selections plus my horse to watch of each race. And I'll give you a recap after each race of my selections. And for the first race I'm going to be doing is race number 9. It is the Mineshaft Stakes, grade 3, going a mile and 1/16 distance for a $200,000 purse. We got a field of 11 running. My top selection is going to be the number 4, Silver Dust. Silver Dust, the money line odds is at 5-2. It's by Tappet out of a hard spun mare. Last time ran on the fair at January 18th at the fairgrounds in the Louisiana, grade 3 for $100,000. Came up first by 4 1/4 lengths. Went 2-3 a bit, and then was in hand late, riding all the way through. The time before that ran on September 28th at Churchill Downs for a mile and 1/8 distance, going for the Lurks Classic, I believe. It's a grade 3 for a $250,000 purse. He came in second by a neck. Had a long bit, was pacing the pace setter, and around that turn came up, was first into the stretch, and lost it near the wire. Then the race before that, it ran on August 3rd at Mountaineer, going a mile and 1/16 distance on the fast track for the West Virginia Governor, grade 3 for a $200,000 purse. Was able to win that race by a half a length. Was up in the pace set, near the pace setter up above, was abreast, and held on. They held on to an extended lead into that stretch. The workouts have been on February 1st at the fairgrounds, going 4 furlongs on a fast track. Did it in 49.20 seconds breezing. Was the 57th best out of the 126 workouts that day. Then for the last workout, it was on February 8th at the fairgrounds, going 4 furlongs on a fast track. Did it in 48.40 seconds breezing. Was the 22nd best at 148 workouts that day. What I see with this is coming back to the fairgrounds. The fairgrounds has a great record. It's 3 for 7 in the win section at the fairgrounds. It is getting Brian Hernandez jumping aboard after having Gilligan aboard for the last couple races for a while. And the way this trainer jockey has been at 18%, for what I see with this one, it's staying at the same level. It's going to need to be right behind the pace setter, whoever it may be, and lay off just a bit and come up strong behind late and come up hopefully at a nice hand ride, or even at a good pacing ways to come up late into that second turn to come up into the stretch for a great lead. So again, for my top selection in the Mineshaft, it is the number 4, Silver Dust, at morning line odds at 5-2. And now it's going to be time for my second choice. My second choice is going to be the number 1, Mosito Rojo. Mosito Rojo is morning line odds at 8-1. It's by Mutaka out of a Orientate mare. Last time ran at Oakland Park on a good track going a mile distance in the 5th season stakes for $100,000. Was able to get third by 3 lengths. Had a brief above and was up in there and was around the quarter pool, just flat on that and tired out. The time before that, it ran on November 29th at Churchill Downs, going a mile and 1/8 distance in the Clark Grade 1 stakes for a $600,000 purse. Got 7th by 8 3/4 lengths. Had to go out to the widest and into the quarter pole again. Just leveled off and didn't have a shot. The workouts have been on January 11th, going at Delta Downs, going 4 furlongs on a sloppy track. Did it in 52.20 seconds breezing. Was the 20th best out of the 24 workouts that day. Then the last workout was on January 18th at Delta Downs, going 4 furlongs on a wet fast track. Did it in 50.40 seconds breezing. Was the 22nd best out of the 71 workouts that day. Well, I see with this one, it's getting back to a fast track. At this level, it's running a lower level back down to a grade 3 after running at some lower levels before, then at a higher level in the Clark in November. Then came up and had a good few greatest stakes races and had one win with Gary Lamont on the board. And I see what needs to be done is stretching back out, going from the mile distance back to a mile 160 distance. May help out a bit if it hangs on to getting around, holding on to behind the pace setter, stalking the pace setter, coming around late. Should come on strong and late for a good run into that stretch and hopefully hang on for a great win or even into the money. So again, for my second choice in the mine shaft, it is the number 1 Mosito Rojo at morning line odds at 8-1. And now it's time for my horse to watch in the mine shaft. It is going to be the number 10, Cutting Humor, at morning line odds at 8-1. It's by First Samurai out of a Pulpit mare. Last time ran at Gulfstream Park on January 11th, going a mile and 1/16 distance in allowance optional claiming $62,500, non-winners of 2. Was able to get third by 2 lengths. And for that, it went up, came up and stalked up, and was up in there, just lost the ground into that second turn. The time before that, it ran on May 4th at Churchill Downs on a sloppy track in the Kentucky Derby, grade 1 for a $3 million purse. Came up 11th by 9 1/4 lengths. Had to go 4-5 wide early, then fanned out a bit more, going 6 wide and weakened to get that placing. It got disqualified and another horse got disqualified, so it came out to get 10th instead of 11th. The workouts have been on January 31st on the PBD training course, I believe. It was 4 furlongs on a fast track. Did in 49.30 seconds breezing. Was the best out of 3 workouts that day. Then the last workout was on February 8th at that PBD training course at 4 furlongs on a fast track. Did in 48.35 seconds breezing. Was the best out of the 18 workouts that day. Well, I see here, it's going to be back down to, it ran that allowance optional claiming to get third. It is getting Javier Castellano aboard, which is a great jockey, knows how to get horses into position. The jockey trainer combination's at 20%. And from running that race at the Kentucky Derby and the Sunland Derby, it has had its advantages to be able to run against tougher horses. So now let's see if it can stay around that pace from this time around. From after that allowance option playing, I think it was just like a little workout to see how the horse was doing. But now let's see how it really does back into stakes racing form and see if it can get up there for a great showing. So again, for my horse to watch in the mine shaft, it is the number 10, Cutting Humor, at moneyline odds at 8-1. To recap my selections for the mine shaft stakes, it is my top selection is the number 4, Silver Dust, at moneyline odds at 5-2. My second choice is the number 1, Mosito Rojo, at moneyline odds at 8-1. And for my horse to watch, it is the number 10, Cutting Humor, at moneyline odds at 8-1. Now it's time for the 10th race. It is the Fairground Stakes Grade 3 for a $150,000 purse for 4-year-olds and up, going a mile and 1/8 distance on the turf. Again, I'm going to be giving you my 2 top selections plus my horse to watch. My top selection is going to be the number 2, Saint Croix, at moneyline odds at 3-1, is by Tap It out of a Forest Wildcat mare. Last time ran at Santa Anita on October 5th on a firm turf going a mile distance in the City of Hope Grade 2 race. Came up 8th by a length and a half. Was inside and waited a bit, but just was a bit too much. So couldn't make any room. The time before that, I ran on September 14th at Woodbine on a good turf, going a mile distance in the Woodbine Mile, Grade 1. Came up 5th by a length and 3/4. Was no clearing to run into the stretch, just had no issues, was blocked up and had no clear moves to get in. Then the time before that, I ran on June 29th at Woodbine on a good turf, going a mile distance in the King Edward Grade 2, $175,000 purse. Was able to win that race by a length. Was up in there, was back in the mid-pack until it found its way into the stretch to come up for that win. The workouts have been on January 20th at the fairgrounds, going 6 furlongs on a fast track, did it in 1 minute, .140 seconds breezing, was the best out of the 2 workouts that day. Then the next workout was on February 1st at the fairgrounds, going 5 furlongs on a fast track, did it in 1 minute, .80 seconds breezing, was the 12th best out of the 52 workouts that day. Then the last workout was on February 8th at the fairgrounds, going 4 furlongs on a fast track, did it in 48.60 seconds breezing, was the 31st best out of the 148 workouts that day. Well, I see what this one is. Dropping back down to a grade 3 level. Hasn't ran that since back in last year and won the race. Same exact race. So it's coming for a repeat and coming up for hopefully can get the second time to come around to get a good win. You'll see this one coming on strong and late. What we'll have to do is lay off a bit, maybe be in mid-pack into that first turn, then coming up into that first stretch, moving up a bit, then into that second turn, make its move a bit to come up strong and late, to come up for a great win again, for a repeat. It is 3 for 7 at the fairgrounds. At this distance, and at the fairgrounds is 4 for 5. So it has an excellent record at the fairgrounds, and at the distance it is at 3 for 7, and knows how to win at the fairgrounds, especially on the turf. In the turf, it is 7 for 18. So you'll see this one coming on strong and late, and a great win. Maybe even lower than 3-1, might be 2-1, maybe even be the heavy favorite by the time the race goes off. So again, for my top selection in the fairgrounds, it is the number 2, St. Croix at Moorline odds at 3-1. And now it's time for my second choice in the Fairground Stakes. It is going to be the number 5, Don't Blame Rocket at morning line odds at 9-2. Is by Blame out of a Dixieland band mare. The last time ran was on January 18th at the fairgrounds, going a mile and 1/16 distance on the turf in the C. Bradley Stakes for $125,000. Was able to win that race by 3 lengths. Got bumped inside, got bumped and blocked inside, and had to go 4 wide into the quarter pole to get that win in the stretch. The time before that ran at Kentucky Downs on the turf, going a mile and 170 yards for starters, $25,000. Was able to win that race by half a length. Had to go into the 4-path, trained a bit, got bid, and got edged and cleared into the stretch. The workouts have been at February 3rd at Palm Meadows, going 4 furlongs on the turf, going at 48.60 seconds, breezing down, was the 6th best out of the 67 workouts that day. Then the last workout was on February 9th, going 4 furlongs on the turf, on the firm turf, going 49.25 seconds breezing, was the 29th best out of the 44 workouts that day. Well, I see with this one, it's good. The step up in class is the only issue with it, but it has a great record at the fairgrounds. It is 5 for 8 and is 7 for 3 on the turf at the fairgrounds. So it knows how to get a great distance, and being on the turf there is keeping Julian Leperoux aboard, which knows how to get the horse into position in a great win. Because the last 2 times that he's been aboard has won by 3.5 lengths, could have been 4. But now with this one, it's facing a little bit tougher, but may come up strong. If it makes that move, coming around that second turn into the stretch to make that late kick that it knows it has, it should come on strong and late for a good win, or even in the placing, in the money. So again, for my second choice in the Fairground Stakes, it is the number 5, Don't Blame Rocket at morning line odds at 9-2. And now it's time for my horse to watch in the Fairground Stakes. It is going to be the number 10, Space Mountain, at morning line odds at 20-1. Yes, you heard me right, 20-1. Is by Street Cry as a Stormcat mare. Last time ran on January 18th at the fairgrounds on the firm turf, going a mile and 1/16 distance in the C. Bradley, was able to get 6th by 5 1/4 lengths. got bumped in between and blocked some more. Had to go inside. Was making a move but tired out at the end of the wire. The time before that, it ran on December 21st at the fairgrounds on a sloppy track, going a mile and 1/16 distance in the Dilbert Memorial, I believe it is, a $75,000 race. Came up second by length and 3/4. Had to go 2 to 3 wide into the turns. Then in the lane, had to go 4 wide to get that good second right at the wire. The workouts have been on February 1st at the fairgrounds, going 4 furlongs on a fast track. Did it in 48.20 seconds breezing. Was the 13th best at 126 workouts that day. Then for the last workout was on February 8th at the fairgrounds, going 5 furlongs on a fast track. Did it in 1 minute, 0.01 seconds breezing. Was the 14th best at the 58 workouts that day. Well, I see with this one, at the distance is 1 for 2 at this distance. Has not been in the money at the fairgrounds, but on the turf has been 6 for 31. And if it gets a wet turf, you may see a better improvement. It has been 3 for 8 on a wet turf. So it may be a good fast track on the turf, but if you see it has on the firm turf good starts, it's getting Florent Giroux aboard, has coming back on the board, that's coming aboard, and the trainer jockey Maker and Furu is at 11% click together. But from coming up to this race, it should have a nice straight kick in, coming back into the greatest stakes races. Has not had a great improvement, but I believe if you see this one coming on strong and late, has no issues of blocking or bumping or anything. You'll see Florent Giroux going up into it mid-pack, maybe pacing in the mid-pack, then coming up strong late to come up for a great price and a great win, or even in the money. So again, for my horse to watch in the Fairground Stakes, it is the number 10, Space Mountain, at morning line odds at 20-1. To recap my races for the Fairground Stakes, race number 10, it is my top selection is the number 2, St. Croix, at morning line odds at 3-1. My second choice is the number 5, Don't Blame Rocket, at morning line odds at 9-2. And for my horse to watch, it is the number 10, Space Mountain, at morning line odds at 20-1. Now it's time for race 11, the Rachel Alexandra Stakes, grade 2. Going a mile and 1/16 distance for a $300,000 purse for fillies 3-year-olds. And it's getting Kentucky Oaks points. What you'll see with this one is a field of 7 running. Again, I'm going to be giving you my 2 top selections plus my horse to watch. My top selection is going to be the number 6, British Idiom, at morning line odds at 8-5. Last time ran on November 1st at Santa Anita, going a mile and 1/16 distance in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, grade 1. Came up first by a neck. Wore down the foes. It was stalking the pace in mid-pack, then stalking into the stretch. Then came up late to get up and beat Donna Vellucci for the win. So he won that race by a neck. The time before that ran on October 4th at Keeneland, going a mile and 1/16 distance in the Abracadabra grade stakes for a $400,000 purse. Was able to get first by 6.5 lengths. The workouts have been in that race it took command and drew off. The workouts have been on February 2nd at the fairgrounds, going 5 furlongs on a fast track. Did it in 1 minute, 0.80 seconds breezing. Was the 20th best out of the 51 workouts that day. Then the last workout was on February 9th at the fairgrounds, going 4 furlongs on a fast track. Did it in 48.60 seconds breezing. Was the 13th best at 138 workouts that day. This filly is undefeated, and it's keeping Castellano aboard. Castellano and Cox together, they're at a 19% click, or wherever they run. What I see with this one, after that long layoff a bit, it needed to relax, I know, and just really paceful, but it's showing that it's back in shape. The workouts have been great. It's going to go back to from it was. This little drop in class would be a little issue. Won't be an issue at all. The drop in class would be easily wore out, and you'll see this one coming on very strong and late. So again, for my top selection in the Rachel Alexandra Stakes, it is the number 6 British Idiom at moneyline odds at 8-5. And now it's time for my second choice in the Rachel Alexandra Stakes. It is to be the number 3 Swiss Skydiver at moneyline odds at 8-1. Is by Daredevil out of a Johannesburg mare. Last time ran was on January 18th at Tampa Bay, going 7 furlongs on the fast track in a stakes race for $125,000. Came up 5th by 3/4 lengths. Had an issue, had to go 5 wide in advance and floated out a bit more, but was coming up strong, but then lost a bit more, tiring out right at the stretch. The time before that ran on November 30th, going a mile distance on a sloppy track for allowance optional claiming at Churchill Downs. For allowance optional claiming $75,000, was able to get second by half a length. Had a slow start, got ran down late, was up in the lead around the turn into the stretch, and got wore down late. The workouts have been on January 31st at Gulfstream Park, going 5 furlongs on a fast track, did in 1 minute, 0.12 seconds breezing, was the best out of the 27 workouts that day. Then the last workout was on February 8th at Gulfstream Park, going 5 furlongs on a fast track, did it in 59.920 seconds breezing, was the second best out of the 35 workouts that day. With this one, I see coming as my second choice. In Lifetime, it is 143 Lifetime. It is getting a nice dirt track, so it'd be a nice fast track. Nothing about it is an issue. The last race, it just had issues going 5 wide in advance, and they had a slow start. What I see it needs to do with this one, Swiss Skydiver would need to do is no issue after winning that coming up 5th at that stakes race, but has issues. That's the only thing. Out of all the races, it had a slow start. Let's hope that the trainer has worked on it to get a good fast start and no issues happen. It's getting Brian Hernandez aboard. Brian Hernandez and McPeak are at a 13% click together. They know how to get their horses into position well. Let's just hope that nothing happens. It gets off well better than all the times it's raced so far. Which I think it may happen with the workouts. It shows that it may have had something to do, but it worked it out. If it gets a nice, clear track, fast track, you'll see it coming on strong and late, right around that turn. So you'll see this one coming on strong and late for a good win, or even for a good in the money placing. So again, for my second choice in the Rachel Alexandra, it is the number 3 Swiss Skydiver at moneyline odds at 8-1. And now it's time for my horse to watch in the Rachel Alexandra Stakes. It is going to be the number 2, Ursula. Ursula's moneyline odds at 8-1 is by Tappet out of a Anabata mare. Last time ran on January 18th at the fairgrounds on a fast track going a mile and 1/16 distance in the Silver Bullet Day Stakes going for $150,000. Came up second by a neck. Was up inside, going up, was first the pace setter, just got tired out around that turn and lost the ground. Was third, but came up strong to get that good second. The time before that, it ran on December 21st, going at the fairgrounds on a sloppy track, going 6 furlongs in the Little Taylor Memorial, I believe it is. $75,000 stakes race. Came up second by 11 and a quarter lengths. Broke out, had the bid, had to go 3 wide into that turn, and stayed second all the way through. The workouts have been on January 6th, going 4 furlongs on a fast track, did it in 49.20 seconds breezing, was the 13th best out of the 66 workouts that day. Then for the last workout was on February 8th at the fairgrounds, going 4 furlongs on a fast track, did it in 48.20 seconds breezing, was the 10th best at 148 workouts that day. From the 2 stakes races it had, it's keeping Mitchell Rulo aboard, and the Mitchell Rulo and jockey trainer combinations at 14%. At fairgrounds, the horse is 1-4-3 at the track, and it's been in the money twice. Well, I see with this one, to be my horse to watch, you'll need to see is that it's coming. The step up in class is the issue, but that should have nothing to do. If it runs its race, hopefully try to be stalking to being the pace setter. You should see this one. Hopefully, if it gets enough room and lays it off well, gets enough to try to be the pace setter, what it needs to do is that she'll need to stay up, and then the jockey will need to slow her down a bit to slow the pace, but be up in front until that second turn to let her go to come up strong and late. So what I see with that, that's what needs to be done. That I believe that this horse would do to be coming on into the money or also to win. So again, for my horse to watch in the Rachel Alexandra Stakes, going a mile and 1/16 distance, it is the number 2 Ursula at moneyline odds at 8-1. To recap my selections now for the Rachel Alexander Stakes, race number 11. It is going to be, my top selection is the number 6, British Idiom at morning line odds at 8-5. My second choice is the number 3, Swiss Skydiver at morning line odds at 8-1. And for my horse to watch, it is the number 2, Ursula at morning line odds at 8-1. Now it's time to do the race that the stakes race that everyone's been waiting for. It is going to be the Risen Star Stakes. We got 2 divisions. We got a division number 1 is race 12, and division number 2 is race number 13. First, let's do division number 1. Division number 1 is going a mile and 1/8 distance for, let's see here, let's get it to the point. Sorry, my computer's acting up a bit. It's going for a $400,000 purse, and it gets Derby points towards the Kentucky Derby. We got a field of 11 running. My top selection is going to be the number 2, Silver State. Silver State's morning line odds is at 9-2, at 4-1. Excuse me, not 9-2, 4-1. Is by Hard Spun out of a Empire Maker mare. Last time ran on January 18th at the fairgrounds, going a mile and 1/16 distance in the Lecomte's Grade 3 $200,000 stakes race. Came up second by a length and a half. Bobbled and got blocked and bumped. Had to go 6 wide to get into that stretch to come up strong for that good second place. The time before that ran on November 30th at Churchill Downs on the sloppy track, going a mile distance for allowance optional, claiming $75,000, non-winners of 1. Was able to get second by a neck, but got bumped in the start and got knotted right to the wire. The workouts have been on February 3rd at the fairgrounds, going 5 furlongs on the fast track, did in a 1:01 seconds breezing. Was the 6th best at 11 workouts that day. Then the last workout was on February 10th at the fairgrounds, going 4 furlongs on a fast track, did it in 50.20 seconds breezing. Was the 21st best out of the 26 workouts that day. Well, I see with this one, it's going to have to do without any issues, no bumping or anything. Gets a nice clear trip. Hopefully could get it right inside. But it has a great leg kick, so if it has any issues, but we'll need to do, maybe try to be out and try to be one of the pace setters, which it may not be, but that's what I see may need to be done. Try something new to try to be the pace setter in here and slow down the pace coming around that into that second turn, and then spread it out hard to come up for a good win and for a great price. So again, for my top selection in the Division 1 Risen Star Stakes, race number 12, it is the number 2, Silver State at morning line odds at 4-1. And now it's time for my second choice. My second choice is going to be the number 9, Mr. Monomoy. Mr. Monomoy's morning line odds is at 6-1. It's by Palace Malice out of a Henny Hughes mare. Last time ran was on January 18th at the fairgrounds, going a mile and 1/16 distance in the Lecomte Grade 3 Stakes for a $200,000 purse. Came up third by a length and 3/4. Was behind my top selection, which is Silver State. Was inside, had to be asked, and was chasing good to come up strong for that third. The time before that, it ran on December 21st at the fairgrounds on a sloppy track going a mile and 70 yards for allowance optional claiming $50,000. Non-winners of one. Was able to get second by a head. Had to veer out and blocked, then had to go 3 to 4 wide into the turn to get that good second because it was first, then lost it right at the stretch and wire and came up for a good second by a head. The workouts have been on February 1st at the fairgrounds going 4 furlongs on a fast track. Did it in 48 seconds flat breezing. Was the ninth best out of 126 workouts that day. Then for the last workout, it was on February 8th at the fairgrounds going 4 furlongs on a fast track. Did it in 48.280 seconds breezing. Was the 10th best at 148 workouts that day. What I see with this one is that it's got to do that same type of issue it's had. It's jockey trainers at 26% at the fairgrounds. Has it been only in the money twice out of the 2 times, so it's been in the money, not a win. It has to show that it needs to work, wants to run real bad and hard. What it needs to do would be stalking the pace setter like it has before, maybe a little bit in the mid-pack. What I see would need to be done would be in mid-pack and not stalking the pace setter. Save the energy until that second turn or coming up that first stretch, then coming into the turn, making the move to come up strong and late for a great win or even for a placing. So again, for my second choice in the Division 1 of the Risen Star Stakes, race number 12, it is the number 9, Mr. Monomoy, at morning line odds at 6 to 1. And now it's time for my horse to watch in the Division 1 of the Risen Star Stakes. It is going to be the number 3, Ready to Roll, at morning line odds at 20 to 1. Last time ran is by City Zip out of a Escandria mare. Last time ran was on January 24th at Oaklawn Park on a muddy track going a mile and 1/16 distance for a maiden special weight, $85,000. Was able to come up first by 7.5 lengths. Just made the pace and out-kicked clear everyone. The time before that, it ran on December 21st at the fairgrounds on a sloppy track going 6 furlongs for a maiden special weight, $45,000. Was 4th by 11 3/4 lengths. Got bumped in between and blocked. Had to go 3 to 4 wide and got that good third placing because of a disqualification in that race. The workouts have been on January 14th at the fairgrounds going 4 furlongs on a good track. Did it in 49.20 seconds breezing. Was the 3rd best out of the 13 workouts that day. Then the last workout was on February 8th at the fairgrounds going 4 furlongs on a fast track. Did it in 49 seconds flat. Breezing. Was the 47th best out of the 148 workouts that day. With this one, I see it's going to have to be stalking the pace setter. It tried being the pace setter and won that race. But that was at a lower level. This is it's taking a big step in class. So what needs to be done is that it needs to show the potential and maybe lay off the pace and be stalking or be in a mid-pack to show that it has that late great kick at the end at this race. It should be a fast track, so it has never ran on a fast track, but may like it a lot since once it was on a muddy track, it blew off away, and on a good track. So this could be the first time on a fast track and see what happens then. So again, for my horse to watch in the Division 1 of the Risen Star Stakes, it is the number 3 Ready to Roll at morning line odds of 20-1. Again, here are the recap for my selections for race number 12, the Risen Star Stakes Division 1 of the races of the Risen Star. My top selection is the number 2, Silver State at morning line odds at 4-1. My second choice is the number 9, Mr. Monomoy at morning line odds at 6-1. And my horse to watch, it is going to be the number 3, Ready to Roll at morning line odds at 20-1. Now it's time for Division 2 of the Risen Star Stakes, race number 13, going a mile and 1/8 distance for a $400,000 purse and Kentucky Derby points. We got a field of 12 running. My top selection is going to be the number 5, Lamb's Lucky Charm at morning line odds at 9-2. Is by Cozine out of a Stormy Atlantic mare. Last time ran was on January 18th at Tampa Bay Downs, going 7 furlongs in the Pasquale Stakes for $125,000 race. Was first by 5.5 lengths. Was the pace and never looked back. The time before that, it ran on September 28th at Gulfstream Park, going a mile and 1/16 distance in FSN Fertility Stakes for a $400,000 race. Was third by 10 3/4 lengths. Was tracking, was in between, then had to go 3 to 4 wide to get that third, but was losing ground, almost got fourth. The workouts have been on January 31st at Gulfstream Park, going 4 furlongs on a fast track. Did it in 49.17 seconds breezing. Was the 20th best out of the 58 workouts that day. Then the last workout was on February 6th at Gulfstream Park, going 5 furlongs on a fast track. Did it in 59.97 seconds breezing. Was the best out of the 10 workouts that day. What I see with this one, it's getting Edgar Zaya is staying aboard. Jockey Trainer is at a 22% click together. But from running those races, stretching back out from the race that it won clearly off of, going back down, stretching back out to a mile and 1/8 distance. You'll see this one, it should be stalking a bit into getting up in there into the race, stalking a bit, and showing out that starting around that second turn to make that kick that it has to come up strong and late and show that it has the ability to win. So again, for my top selection in the Risen Star Stakes Division 2, it is the number 5, Lamb's Lucky Charm at morning line odds at 9-2. And now for my second choice, it is going to be the morning line favorite, the number 8, Annalou de War, at morning line odds at 9-5. Is by Magli Dioro out of a Tappet mare. Last time ran was on December 7th at Los Salamitos Racecourse on a good track, going a mile and 1/16 distance in the Los Salamitos for charity for a $200,000 purse. Was able to get second by a neck. had to go 3 to 4 wide and made the bid to come up strong into the stretch. The time before that ran on February 1st at Santa Anita in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Grade 1, was able to get second by a head, was looming up large and was denied right at the wire. The workouts have been on February 1st at Golden Gate Fields, going 7 furlongs on a fast track, did in a 1 minute 29.80 seconds breezing. Was handily, not breezing, but handily, was the only workout that day. Then the last workout was on February 8th at Golden Gate Fields, going 6 furlongs on a fast track, did in a 1 minute 12.80 seconds breezing. Was the best out of the 8 workouts that day. What I see here is getting Joe Rosario is jumping aboard from getting Juan Hernandez at Golden Gate Fields and at Los Alamitos. It is getting away with that has the potential, knows how to run at this distance, even the bit shorter. Should know that what Joe Rosario is going to do is they get him into position very well late, maybe lay off a bit, coming up strong into that first stretch, then coming up strong into that turn to make the great move around into the stretch. So you'll see it coming on strong and late. So again, for my second choice, it is going to be the number 8, Analu de Or, at morning line odds at 9 to 5. And now it's time for my horse to watch in the Division 2 of the Risen Star Stakes. It is going to be the number 12, NY Traffic, at morning line odds at 10 to 1. It's by Cross Traffic out of a Grantham Hall mare. Last time ran was on January 11th at Gulfstream Park, going a mile and 1/16 distance for allowance optional claiming $75,000. Won that race by 6 3/4 lengths. Pressured, but as the race went longer, the horse stretched out more. The time before that, it ran on November 17th at Aqueduct, going 6 furlongs in the Notebook Stakes for $100,000. Was 5th by 9 1/4 lengths. Was chasing, had to go a bit wide, and just got tired out. The workouts have been on February 2nd at Gulfstream Park, going 5 furlongs on a fast track, did in a 1 minute 0.13 seconds breezing. Was the 5th best out of the 49 workouts that day. Then the last workout was on February 9th at Gulfstream Park, going 5 furlongs on a fast track, did it in 58.98 seconds breezing. Was the best out of the 43 workouts that day. What I see with this one to becoming watch the horse to watch / long shot, it is stepping up in class. It has had its great races. It has had 2 wins. Has not ran at Gulfstream Park, but on the dirt it is 2 for 5. Knows how to win on this at least on the dirt. Getting Castellano back aboard, but if Castellano learned from what happened at Aqueduct, you'll see that he knows how to get him into position early. Maybe not be in mid-pack, but maybe stalking, or even try to be the pace setter here to try out and come up for a good league, as this one has been the pace setter before in 2 of the 5 races it's been in. So knows how it wins when it's the pace setter. So Castellano's going to get this horse out early try to hang on, maybe slow down the pace around the first stretch, and coming on strong late for a good late kick into the stretch to the finish line. So for my horse to watch in the Division 2 of the Risen Star Stakes, race number 13, it is the number 12 NY Traffic at morning line odds at 10-1. Now to recap my selections for the Division 2 of the Risen Star Stakes, race number 13. It is going to be, my top selection is the number 5, Liam's Lucky Charm at morning line odds at 9-2. My second choice is the number 8, Les Deux d'Or at morning line odds at 9-5. And for my horse to watch, it is going to be the number 12, NY Traffic at morning line odds at 10-1. Now those are my races for today at the fairgrounds, and I hope everyone has a great day. And remember, when you're cashing with the wolf, it's howling time. Good luck, everyone, and let's bank in that money. I hope everyone has a great day at the fairgrounds and all the tracks that they do. If you'd like to follow me, you can follow me on Howling Wolf and Sports on Facebook, or on Twitter is my name is at Howler92. You can see my selections there too. So I hope everyone has a great day at handicapping, and let's make that money.